All right, guys, Coach Brix back with the Coach Brix Show. Hey, like I said, I like to bring guys on all the time. You know, guys to talk to, with different aspects of strength, different aspects of speed. And this gentleman right here, is one of my athletes that I'm working with. This is Alan Hollaman from the Shippensburg University. He's getting ready for his NFL Pro Days, NFL Combine, Regional Combine, stuff like that. Training, doing those things he needs to do to get himself going. And, I think there's sometimes, I talk about preparation a lot. You got to be prepared for what you're doing. And I've spoken to Alan many times about, he's going for the biggest job interview of his life so far, of his whole career so far. You know what I mean? At this point right now, the 53rd man on an NFL roster, the worst guy, we call the worst, is going to make $495,000. Think about that. Playing a game, he's going to make $495,000. So it's what you're doing to prepare yourself to get to that level. And for you high school athletes, it's the same thing. What are you doing to get seen? And are you preparing yourself for your showcases, your clinics, and things like that, where you could be saving yourself $160,000, if not more, over a 4-year period? So preparation is a huge key. And, I wanted Alan to come on just to explain a little bit, what that preparation is all about, what he's doing to get ready for it. So you guys can, at least out there, you can see an athlete. Instead of me just talking about it, you can actually see an athlete who's doing these kind of things, what it takes, how often he's doing these things to make sure he's in the best shape and gives himself the best opportunities possible. So Alan, why don't you break down typically what you're doing, with the combine stuff. What are you doing for that kind of things, to get yourself ready over the starts and all that?
I'm just doing a lot of reps, make sure I'm doing it correctly. Start off slow, start with the basics, make sure everything was right, technique was right. And as I got technique down, we started picking it up, going full speed, and then definitely I felt myself getting faster. And 40, that thing was like, as long as I believe it, and I knew that I was doing everything right, everything was going pretty well.
How did you think, when you first came out, most guys just think, hey, I just go run my 40-yard dash, correct? But there's a lot to it, right? There's a lot of prep work. There's a lot of things of teaching technique, making sure you're comfortable in that stance to make sure you come out, correct?
Correct.
You felt a huge difference when we first started you out. You were like, this doesn't feel comfortable at first, but then it got comfortable.
Yes,
and now you're flying, I can see a huge difference with your start compared to what your start was before. You were fast for a 237-pound lineman, linebacker here. You had some speed there, but now you feel so much different, more explosive, correct?
Yes, sir. I kind of hate it personally, but it has to be done. It's going to be one of the most important events of my life, 40-yard dash. Hate to mention, admit it, but the 40-yard dash is definitely my ticket to get into the NFL. You have to run a good 40-yard dash, and that's me coming from a D2 school.
Yep.
That's my ticket to get in there.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely a different thing coming from a D2 school, not having a team that was on top of the D2 levels there. You guys were a good team, but you guys weren't a great team.
Right.
So you were seen, on a national scale and all that kind of stuff. Even though you were Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, you have high accolades.
Yes, sir.
But still, it's Division II, and people sometimes treat that a little different.
Yes,
so you got to go in there and ball out, show out everything
Yes,
you got. But not only the 40-yard dash, but you've really worked on your pro agility, where you've really knocked time off that 2, 3, 4 tenths of a second off that
sir.
by just learning that technique.
Yes, sir.
That technique was pretty tough for you at first. You had a hard time getting it, but now that you got it, how much better does that feel?
It feels a lot better. Like I said, technique is definitely key. You come in, it's hard to show you, but get my foot in front of me and make sure that I can explode straight down the line instead of whipping my leg around front. That's definitely 10 seconds off, so you know what I mean? So definitely key.
And that's for you young guys out there, not even just getting ready just for the NFL Combine or anything like that, but just young guys in general. It's all about your technique and your preparation. So many of you guys skip over that. Some of you guys in high school, you're such great athletes that you think you don't need to do it because you're better than everybody else. Well, guess what? Everybody then eventually catches up. Everybody's great in college, correct?
Correct.
You know what I mean? And there's different levels for that. Alan's a phenomenal Division II player. We're going to see if he has what it takes, which I truly believe he does, and I know he believes, because that's a huge part, because if you don't believe, then who cares? You're not going to do it, to play at that next level. You know what I mean? But he has to work for it. Nothing's going to be given to him. This guy comes up here, he drives up, he's about 40 minutes from school, he drives up here, stays over certain nights, during the week when we have an early session or we have a late session, whatever, to get him in, to make sure he does it. A lot of guys aren't willing to sacrifice that. Alan does. He knows. I also told him, hey, listen, on weekends you can't go out anymore. You know, does it kill him? He gets mad, you see? He gets mad at me. But you know what? It's only for a short period of time. I'm not asking him to do it for the rest of his life, but I'm asking him to stay focused on one thing. You know what I mean? Think about that, $495,000. Just to sign, that's like I said, that's not even guys that are signing, you know, in the first, second, third, fourth round. These are guys maybe signing free agent contracts, maybe seventh round picks, stuff like that. He can make $495,000. It is the most important job interview he will have right now. You know, up to his whole life so far, this is probably the most important. And so he's preparing for that kind of stuff. And it gets me upset when I see high school kids not putting in the same type of work. When I see college guys not putting in the same type of work, you go out there and you're like, seriously, what were you doing to prepare for that? Well, I ran a couple 40s. I did a couple pro. Yeah, but they all look like crap. You know what I mean? And then you expect some miracle to happen for you, like somebody's going to pick you up. Understandable, that's not the whole part of the game. You still got to be able to play the game. Just say I run a 4.3 and my pro agility is 3.9. I can't catch a ball, can't tackle anybody, and I can't read plays. I'm not going to get picked up either. But Alan can play the game. Like I said, the guy's a phenomenal athlete, all-around athlete, stuff like that. But I want to talk about this before we let him go is, you know, one of the things really changed, I think, 3 years ago when we first met. You had the speed. I mean, this guy could fly. For being 230 pounds, this guy could run. But the problem is he couldn't stop. You know what I mean? You would overrun stuff all the time. And you would have to go chase people down. And you would chase them because you had the speed, but they would pick up another 5, 10, 15 yards because so you turned around and got them. It took time. Then all of a sudden you learned how to decelerate, slow your body down, learn how to play under control. And I think it really changed for you. You know what I mean? You look so much smoother out in the field when I watched you play this year, and then also in a lot of your drills, you know, reaction drills, you move. You move extremely well for as big as you are. So why don't you talk to the, you know, the youth out there and college guys like that who are listening, you know, about how important that change of direction, learning those types of basic movements, like we talked about the technique, but the deceleration, the reacceleration. How important is that?
It's very important. Like I said, before I got to Dave, I like to give myself a little credit. I can move a little bit, but definitely come with Dave for the past 3 years, 4 years. Definitely is I see the improvement in my game. Me as a linebacker, deceleration and breaking down is definitely one of the key elements of my game. So definitely, I see myself making more tackles, overfield tackles, things like that. So definitely helped me a lot. I appreciate it, my man.
Yeah, you know, it's not just me. It's Alan taking that in. You know, one of the things we went down to one of my good buddies, Justin Kavanaugh, who does a lot of strength work and speed work and combine work with a lot of guys, and he had a bunch of guys down there, D1 guys that were training, getting ready for the NFL. And Alan and I went down, you know, work out with him for the day and things. And one of the big things he stressed was that respect. You know what I mean? Saying yes, sir, running to the spot, going from one place to the next. Coaches, so many kids don't do that. You know, I've worked with a lot of different camps, you know, with a lot of my different friends and stuff like that, these football camps and stuff, and guys just walk over. I know the ones that want to be there because they'll run, they'll be in the front of the line. They'll get their rear ends there first. They'll say, yes, sir, no, sir. Look you in the eye. Shake your hand like a man, not like a dead fish, you know, like this. You know, they're shaking their hand. That's all the part of the process. That's all part of the things that's going to make the difference between you maybe getting that call and getting that partial scholarship or full scholarship, or you watching from someplace else. Because they want people like that. There's so many good athletes out there nowadays, so many good guys that can play football. But there's only so many good, respectable people. You know what I mean? That respect somebody else. And I think that's a huge process, you know, of taking everything in and continue to build upon that. You know, the foundations I talk about, the fundamentals, all those basic things that Alan's learning with the steps of the 40 and the steps of the pro agility, doing things like that, and how much it takes really the dedication to drive up here. You know what I mean? 40 minutes and then drive home and still go to class. He still has class each day. It's not like he's done with school. He still has to get to class, so he has to take care of his bookwork. He has to be respectful to, you know, the coaches. He's still got to do some of the training down there because, you know, he can't be up here all the time. So there's a lot of different things that, you know, go into being a great athlete, and you got to be willing to dedicate yourself. If you're not willing to dedicate yourself, that's fine. Then don't do it. My number one advice is, you're not willing to give yourself that 100% chance to be successful. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Okay, it's just a waste of your time. It's a waste of whoever else is helping your time. You got to dedicate yourself. Okay, whether you're getting ready for the NFL, whether you're getting ready for college, you got to put the time in, and the effort in. All right. So fundamentals key, yes, basic technique, yes, all those kind of things. You hear him. He didn't talk about advanced skills. We're not doing advanced skills. We're learning how to run the 40-yard dash. We're learning how to do a pro agility move. You know, we're learning how to change direction properly. You know, there's time for football stuff, no question about it, but he needs to learn those basics, and that's what he has learned and continue to improve. And I'm looking forward, you know, a couple weeks here. He's getting ready for his regional combines and his pro days. I think he's going to shock a lot of people, you know, with what he can do there. And then it's his job then when the one-on-ones come,
Yes, sir.
you know, to show up.
Yes, sir.
You know, so he's going to be ready. Any advice for the young kids out there, college guys, you know, that may be going through the same process?
Just if you want to do it, you got to grind. Man, Davis doesn't like the word grind, but honestly, I know it's a grind every day because I mean every day you don't want to. Every day you want to push yourself to over limit, but you have to. Like I say, it's a grind. So personally, I said, if you keep God first, keep grinding, you definitely get where you want to go.
Yeah, so I mean that's great advice from a guy who keeps putting it in every single day, working hard and stuff like that. Anybody can achieve what they want to achieve. All right, but you got to be willing to put the work in. If you're not putting the work in, then don't expect miracles to happen. All right, sometimes you put a lot of work in, you don't get what you quite want. That's sometimes life. But you know what? You can never look back on and say, well, I didn't give 100% to get to that point. Alan's going to look back and say, you know, if it didn't work out, he's going to look back and say, you know what? I did everything I needed to do to get to that point. I did everything. And that sometimes happens. All right? So, guys, make sure you guys stay strong, stay blessed. Remember, greatness never rests. Coach Brix Show back, guys. I hope you're well. Time to get fired up again for another great episode here. Another exercise that you guys can put into your toolbox to make your athletes better, your teams better, whoever you're working with. All right? As you guys have seen, we've done some other ones in the past, some jumping things. This is just adding on to it. All right? It's called the tuck jump, or easier to understand, maybe knees to chest. All right? You're going to get down about a quarter squat position, have your athletes down, arms back. Remember, always that good form starting out. On your command, especially when you're first starting out, on your command, either go, jump, whatever you want to utilize. You want your athletes exploding up as high as they can, bringing their knees to their chest, landing back into that athletic position, okay? So here we go. Remember, you want to have them down, arms are back, jump up, right back. When you say jump again, you're going to fire up, jump. One more time, jump. All right, you want to make sure your athletes are getting up, landing. Check that knees, all right? They're not knocking in, having knock knees when they take off or when they land. Good proper form, head and chest up. Remember that good stance here. All right, give that one a whirl. We usually do about 5 reps in a set, anywhere between 3 to 5. Never try to go over that. I know some people try to do like 10, 15. See some of these workouts, man, you're just beating on their body, all right? You're looking for maximal power in this one. So it's not a conditioning drill. It's not a conditioning workout. All right, if you want to run it, add a sprint into it, maybe do 2 or 3 jumps, the tuck jumps, sprint out 10, 15 yards. Great one. I love doing it. I love doing it in my workouts and stuff like that. But repetitive jumps over and over and over again where you're doing 8, 10, 15, 20 in a row, just killing you. Just wearing that body out. All right? So 3 to 5 reps. Usually I do about anywhere between 2 to 4 sets. All right, depending on my athletes and what else I had designed for that day. Let me know what you guys think of that, how I can help you out. It's the Coach Brix Show, guys. Stay strong, stay blessed. Remember, greatness never rests.